Today we're replacing the flour with potato starch, and it comes out crispy and delicious and maybe even better than the original. So the first thing that you want to do to start off with is peel 2.5 pounds of russet potatoes. Make sure you're using the russet. Those are the starchy ones, and the starch is what holds them together. If you're slow at peeling potatoes, you want to put these potatoes in a bowl of water to keep them from discoloring. I highly recommend it. Just a little hint. You probably knew that already anyway. I have small potatoes today, so I'm peeling a lot, but if you have big potatoes, you actually have to peel less. So I recommend getting bigger potatoes. Not going to affect the flavor at all. Just going to save you a little bit of time, and I'm all about saving time, as you know. All right, now that they're all peeled, you need 1 medium onion. Now comes the really painful part, but you have to do it. You have to grate your onion. And obviously you have to peel it first. You do, however, have the option, if you choose, of doing this in the food processor, which would probably get rid of most of the pain because it would be faster. But I like to torture myself, so I'm just going to grate it by hand. It's starting, guys. It's really starting. If you avert your head, maybe you'll save yourself some of the pain. And I'm not a scientist, but I feel like what it does is release every single one of those little oils that jump into your eye and make your eye sting. And it's so low yield. Wait till you see what you get out of grating a whole entire onion. I mean, but you have to. It has to be grated because you need that really, really, really mushy texture. Otherwise, it's no good. All right, I'm almost done. And as you can see, I'm crying. It's totally gonna be worth it. Next, you do your potatoes. Same thing, but I like to do it on the long side so you get nice long strips on the large holes of the box grater. Sort of the opposite of what you want to happen to the onion. This is a seemingly easy recipe with very few ingredients, but it takes a couple minutes to grate all those potatoes. I don't know why I insist on doing stuff like this by hand, but I do. But you don't have to. If you made this in the food processor, you'd be home by now. All right, sliding into home base, people, I'm done. All right, this is done, but do you see all that liquid in the bowl? We need to get rid of that liquid or this is not gonna be nice. So take half your mixture at a time, put it into a kitchen towel, wrap it up, and then I just like to do this over the sink. Squeeze out as much of the liquid as you possibly can, and that's a lot. I couldn't believe how much liquid was in here. Takes a little bit of strength, but make sure you do a really, really good job. This is one of the most important steps. Unwrap it. Wow, it's nice and dry now. Look at that. Beautiful. Do the other batch. Look at all that. That's like ridiculous, right? There's a little bit of liquid and a little bit of starch in the bottom of the bowl. Just leave the starch in the bottom of the bowl, which will help thicken it and get rid of the liquid. Take the rest of your potatoes, add it to the bowl, and to that you add 3 large eggs, 1.5 teaspoons of coarse salt, 1/2 cup of potato starch. That's gonna help bind everything together and make it nice and crunchy and crispy, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. That's it. Mix that all together and that's it. Those are your ingredients. It's a nice dry mixture too, not too wet because you squeezed out all that excess liquid. Now it's time to fry them. You'll notice over here that I have an induction burner. We have not had gas since Hurricane Sandy. It's been weeks. So you heat your 1 cup of oil until a little bit of the mixture sizzles and turns golden brown in about 15-20 seconds. You want to fry these over medium-high heat. I don't exactly know what that is on an induction burner, so I'm going to go to 6. I feel it in my bones. I think it's ready, so I'm going to test it to see. Oh yeah, see? My bones were right. I'm going to scoop using an ice cream scoop. You don't have to use an ice cream scoop. Use 2 spoons or 1 spoon anyway, and scoop, whoa, directly in and then press them down a little bit. The moisture in the mixture can make it splatter a little bit, which can be A, dangerous, and B, scary. Squeeze out the excess liquid as much as possible, and that'll help matters a little bit. And then just add it to the oil, press it down a little bit so they're nice and even, and let them fry away. If you feel like your temperature is spiking and getting too hot, turn it down a little bit. Don't crowd the pan. Once they're golden on the first side, then you can just carefully flip them over to the other side, and they're really nice and crisp. That potato starch is working really well in binding them, but also giving great crispness. And I also find, I think that the potato starch makes them a little more golden-y looking than the flour. I could be completely making that up though. You know me, I have a tendency to do that. No, I don't. And then you just continue cooking in them in batches. It's a labor of love though. Anything that you fry is a labor of love, right? It's not your everyday. but it's worth it for your family and your friends. Make yourself feel good because you're doing something that you know everybody is gonna love. And when the first batches are done, just drain them on paper towels. I like to put it down and then turn it over quickly so that both sides get absorbed. And if you want to keep them warm in a 200-degree oven. This guy looks good, right? It's crunchy and delicious, and they're beautiful. They're golden brown. There's a lot going for them. Don't you just want to eat them right now? I know you do, and I highly recommend that you make these for Hanukkah, Christmas, or any special occasion. Sprinkle a little salt on them, why not? Spoon a little bit of sour cream, a little applesauce, whatever you want on top, and indulge.